Staff Sergeant Marcus Chen had expected his reassignment to the remote Montana facility to be punishment duty, a career-killing post in the middle of nowhere for questioning orders one too many times. The compound, designated simply as Research Station Delta 7, sat nestled in a valley surrounded by towering pines and granite peaks, seemingly forgotten by civilization. His first week passed uneventfully. Chen processed supply requisitions, supervised equipment maintenance, and wondered why a facility this small needed such an extensive underground network. The other soldiers were cordial but distant, sharing knowing glances that excluded him from some unspoken understanding. When he asked about the facility's purpose, he received vague answers about advanced reconnaissance training and classified research protocols. The truth revealed itself on a rain-soaked Thursday night in October. Chen was completing his rounds when he heard the alarm. Not the standard base alert he knew, but something deeper, more urgent. Red lights bathed the corridors as soldiers rushed past him with weapons he didn't recognize, energy cells glowing blue along their barrels. Following the commotion, he descended through security checkpoints he'd never seen opened, each level taking him deeper into the mountain's heart. The elevator stopped at sublevel 7, and Chen stepped into a war room that belonged in a science fiction film. Massive screens displayed tactical maps of the surrounding wilderness, marked with movement patterns and threat assessments. Officers shouted coordinates while technicians monitored energy signatures that pulsed across their displays like alien heartbeats. "Contact confirmed, Grid 7 Alpha," came a voice through the comm system. "Multiple hostiles moving toward the perimeter. They're using active camouflage." Chen pressed himself against the wall as Colonel Sarah Vance, the base commander, swept past. She paused when she noticed him, her expression shifting from urgency to calculation. "Sergeant Chen," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. "You're not supposed to be here." "Ma'am, I heard the alarm and..." "Follow me. Now." Vance led him to an observation deck overlooking a massive underground hangar. Below, soldiers in advanced combat gear checked weapons that hummed with energy. Vehicles unlike anything in the standard military arsenal prepared for deployment, sleek, angular craft that seemed to bend light around their edges. 67 years ago, Vance began, her eyes fixed on the preparations below. A craft of unknown origin crashed in these mountains. The occupants survived. They've been here ever since, and we've been fighting them in secret ever since. Chen stared at her, certain he'd misheard. "Ma'am?" "The Greys, we call them. Though that's not entirely accurate, they shift, adapt, camouflage. They're territorial, highly intelligent, and absolutely hostile to human presence in their claimed areas. The public thinks these mountains are protected wilderness. They're right, in a way. We're protecting the public from what lives here." On the screens above, thermal signatures moved through the forest with inhuman speed and coordination. Chen watched as red dots converged on what appeared to be an empty clearing, but the display showed defensive positions and hidden bunkers. "Operation Skyfall has been ongoing since 1958, Vance continued. Small unit actions, containment protocols, technological recovery. We've learned from them, adapted their tech to our purposes. Those weapons, those vehicles, reverse-engineered from recovered materials." A new voice crackled through the calm. "Base, this is Reaper 1. We have visual confirmation. They're using new configurations. Some kind of energy shielding we haven't seen before." Chen watched the tactical display update in real time. The enemy positions flickered and shifted, appearing and disappearing like ghosts in the digital landscape. His military training kicked in, analyzing patterns and movement despite the surreal nature of what he was witnessing. "How many people know?" he asked. "Fewer than 1,000, globally. Presidents are briefed, key military leadership, essential scientific personnel. The rest of the world goes on believing we're alone in the universe." Vance turned to face him fully. "Now you know. The question is, what do we do with you?" The weight of her words settled over Chen like a lead blanket. He understood the implications immediately. People who learned this kind of secret didn't simply return to their previous lives. The knowledge was too dangerous, too potentially destabilizing. "What are my options?" he asked. "Join the war," Vance said simply. Take the oath, accept assignment to Special Operations Command X, and help us keep these things contained. Or. She didn't need to finish. Chen had seen enough classified operations to understand that or rarely led to pleasant alternatives. Outside, explosions lit up the night sky, not the orange fire of conventional weapons, but brilliant flashes of blue and white that seemed to tear at the darkness itself. The building shuddered with impacts that sounded unlike anything Chen had experienced in Iraq or Afghanistan. "They're testing our defenses again," Vance explained. "Probing for weaknesses. They do this every few months, sometimes coordinating with other cells across the continent. We think they're planning something bigger, but we don't know what or when." Chen studied the tactical displays, his mind racing. How long can this be contained? As long as necessary. The alternative is panic, societal collapse, or worse, open war with an enemy we still don't fully understand. Vance's expression softened slightly. "I know this is overwhelming, Sergeant. But you have skills we need. Your record shows tactical innovation under pressure, loyalty to your unit, and the ability to adapt quickly to new situations." On the screens, the engagement was intensifying. Human forces moved with precision through the forest, their advanced equipment allowing them to track and engage an enemy that could render itself nearly invisible. Chen watched a firefight unlike anything in human military history. Energy weapons lighting up the Montana wilderness in a secret war that had raged for decades. "If I join," Chen said slowly, "what exactly would I be fighting for?" "The same thing you've always fought for," Vance replied. "To protect people who will never know they needed protecting. To ensure that children can play in parks without fear, that families can sleep safely, that civilization continues without knowing how close it comes to chaos every single day." Another explosion shook the facility, closer this time. Emergency lights flickered, and Chen could hear the distant whine of energy weapons charging. He thought of his sister's children back in California, playing in their backyard under stars that might hide watching eyes. He thought of his parents, retired and peaceful in their suburban home, never suspecting that their safety depended on soldiers fighting monsters in hidden places. "When do I start?" Chen asked. Colonel Vance smiled grimly and handed him a tablet containing oath documents and assignment papers. "Welcome to Operation Skyfall, Sergeant. Hope you're ready for the real war." As Chen signed his name to papers that would redefine his entire existence, the sounds of battle continued echoing through the Montana mountains, a secret symphony of humanity's hidden defenders standing guard against the dark.